Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast. Today, we are diving into one of the most powerful stories of transformation yet. Joining us is Nathan Buttigieg, all the way from South Chipsland, Australia. Once facing the spiral of addiction, loss, and rock bottom lows, Nathan found his way back with nothing but his own resolve, sheer mental toughness, and some serious gym time. No rehab programs, no mentors, just grit, listeners, and non negotiable tasks, and a hard commitment to be his best self every single day. And now Nathan is on a mission to inspire all of us to tackle our own challenges head on and transform from within. So buckle up because we are going beyond addiction and mental toughness and digging into what it takes to really reinvent yourself from the inside out. So, Nathan, welcome to the show, and it is an absolute honor to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
So, Nathan, when did you first realize that the social drinking norm was leading you down a darker path?
We got locked down 2020 and then probably 2 years later, or maybe 1.5 years later, on Boxing Day of 2021 or two, I think it's two. I kind of realized that there was no point to it. It was just drinking to mask a lot of problems, and I wasn't really getting anywhere. And then everyone always asks when the time was. It was just I don't know. You kind of just get sick of yourself.
Yeah. No, I can totally understand that. So can you share a specific moment, Nathan, when you knew you wanted more out of life than what addiction offered?
I think every time after you say that you wake up from a long night drinking, doing drugs or whatever, the next day you always kind of realize that you did some dumb shit and you got a lot of guilt and regret with you. The last time I had a drink, it was Boxing Day. And I sent a lot of touchy-feely messages. You get drunk and you drunk text everyone.
Yeah.
And kind of in the moment, I was like, this is so stupid, I felt like a lesser man. And then the next day after that, you wake up with all the guilt and regret. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not being a kid. I'm 27 right now. I was 24, 25 at the time. So I got to grow up at some point and start being better for everyone else, not just being selfish and stuck on my feelings and, crying about the world instead of doing something about it.
Yeah, those are some natural feelings. We always think, this is not me. This is not right what I'm doing. I do not want to be like this.
Yeah.
I relate with that.
Yeah, everyone asks what kind of brought it along. I really don't know. It was just an inner feeling of I want to be better. I don't want to be this anymore. There was no star that shot in the sky and I looked up and I was like, oh, there it is. I can be a better man. It's just, you get to a point, or some people get to a point where they're just sick of who they are and they kind of get out of self and their own feelings and, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, I'm going to start being better and, choosing a healthier way and start doing something with myself so that all the people in my life that love me, you just feel deserving of the love, because when you're drinking all the time, when you're doing drugs, you feel like a burden to everyone. There's no good feeling there. So there was no you know, there was no special star or anything. It's just, yeah, one day I woke up to myself and I'm like, I don't want to be this anymore. I want to be better.
Mm. And you didn't seek outside help, Nathan. I mean, in such cases, most of the cases, it's the opposite, So you used the gym and the daily tasks. Why did you decide to go it alone? And how did you keep yourself on track, which is the hardest part in this journey?
It was more out of like shame that I didn't reach out to anyone. No one really knew how bad I was when I was drinking. I was drinking like 20 drinks a night, every night, weekdays. On the weekends would come along, I'd spend like, $400 Australian on alcohol and drink that, whether it was by myself or with people, it didn't matter. So it was just kind of like, I didn't want to admit to everyone that I've been failing. So I never really reached out to anyone. And then the drugs, like you never tell anyone about drugs, especially your parents and your siblings and everyone close to you. So it was more out of like, I guess like ego that I didn't reach out to anyone. I was just like, I'm going to choose to be better. I can do it on my own. It's just a decision. And then I kind of moved from those addictions into being addicted to personal development, building a physique, being mentally tough, and the daily process. I find it very hard to stop anything that I'm in, not just drinking and doing drugs, but anything that I really commit to, I find it very, very, very hard to quit on. So all I had to do was replace the love for substance and suppression to drugs and being a better individual. Doing it every day and staying committed, it was not an issue for me. I'm an addict to my heart, like doing something nonstop and being fully obsessed with it is not difficult at all for me. So yeah, doing it every day wasn't an issue. It was just, I don't think any of it was an issue. I moved on from the victim to wanting to be better very easily. Now I talk, cause at the time I was on my own. I was just doing on my own. I talk to a lot of people now and, they're still struggling after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, because they're still stuck in this mindset of like that they're recovering, that like one day they're going to wake up and not be an addict. But I just moved my focus from, by seeing being a victim and being on drugs and being like drinking all the time is, a very weak thing. And that I wasn't any use to really the world, and I like identified that, and I was like, well, how do I fix that? I become valuable. I become a man of character, someone that's worthy of respect from myself and from everyone. So the sticking to it wasn't hard for me. I still do it now. Like I said, I woke up this morning 3 a.m., went to gym, posted some stuff on social media to try to bring people up as well and bring people with the journey, but it's still the same thing. It's every day. If I veer from it, we go away on a holiday, like I don't even go on holidays, but if we went for 5 days and there wasn't any gym or anything like that, I'd still be up at the same time. I'd still find a way to work out. It's a need for that. Addicts get it. Like if there's addicts listening that are struggling with substance, like when you get into something, you're fully in it. It's very hard to stop.
Correct. It's an addiction, but it's an addiction for good and a greater purpose.
That's it. You just got to switch it. Everyone tries to like get rid of the addiction and overcome that they're an addict. You got to accept that you're an addict and just move your focus to something that will build you in your future and help everyone around you, rather than being stuck in a victim and suppressing all your feelings and all that kind of stuff.
Lovely, Nathan. That is so inspiring, especially for today's younger generation. Very inspiring. And as you explained, do you believe that every addiction journey needs external help, or can self-motivation and resilience be enough?
I help people now. So I'm not going to say that like everyone can do it on their own. I think they can, but some people need kind of a lot of direction and constant kind of like realigning, because we all get down and we all, say that we get in our head and we start telling ourselves we're not good enough and all this kind of stuff. And you need someone there with you to reassure you that you are. And when you're getting too full of yourself, to bring you back to where you're supposed to be. But so I think everyone can do it on their own, but there's nothing wrong with getting help as well. As long as the help isn't keeping you as a victim, as a recovering addict, and you accept that you're just an ex-addict of things that break you, and now you're an addict of things that build you. I think recovery programs try to, they're too touchy-feely, they're too nice, they're too accommodating to recovering, like, oh, I'm a 10-year recovering addict. You got to understand that you're just an ex-addict of all the shit that broke you, and now you're an addict of shit that builds you. It's the same. You're still an addict. It's just different shit. It's the same with people that are, billionaires and millionaires and people that are successful financially. They're addicted to that life. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. So was there a point, Nathan, where you felt like giving up during your transformation, and what pulled you through, if you have had any?
There wasn't any like big plan for a transformation. There was just a plan of, I don't want to do the things that have constantly pulled me back in life. And I just want to focus on being better and overcoming fears and becoming valuable. There was no big plan of a transformation. It was just kind of like, I'm going to start going to gym because when I used to go to gym as a kid, I felt better. So I'm going to start doing that. And when you start doing that, you kind of get enlightened to like the positive side of your mind. So you start talking to yourself nice. You start, start having confidence. You start being proud of yourself. And then, I just barred myself from all the shit that broke me. I was never going back to drugs. I was never going back to drinking. So that cut out partying, that cut out all that kind of stuff. So then it was just like, okay, what am I going to do to feel good? I'm just going to, go to gym and read books and become smarter and, that kind of stuff. There was never any like master plan of a transformation. If anyone goes back and looks, like I looked and acted completely different, but I never planned this. I never planned being on a podcast. I never planned on speaking of, my troubles and my adversity. It just happened. You just focus on being better, and that's where it takes you. You focus on, drugs and alcohol, and you're focusing on being worse. You're going to go backwards.
Definitely. That's a great answer, Nathan. And of course, what role did physical fitness play in reshaping your life and mindset?
Just gave me something else to focus on and kind of a mission to stay on the path as. So it was just like, every day I go into gym, I want to get stronger. And how do I do that? I got to start eating right. I got to go more consistently. I got to, do the right amount of reps and sets and rest at the right times. And you kind of like just get obsessed to the process of building a physique, which was the best thing ever because, it brought me to, eating right, and that got my mind right. Then I wanted to be smarter and know about things. Started reading books, started self-teaching myself all this stuff through YouTube and mentors. I mean, like mentors, like through content and stuff like that. But it was everything. It gave me somewhere to like put my energy. It gave me something else to get addicted to. Without gym, I'd probably still be an addict. I would have fallen off. And every day, like the daily process of going to gym, you walk out of the gym just feeling good. The only time you go to alcohol and drugs is when you feel like shit about yourself. You just can't feel like shit about yourself if you're going to gym all the time and hitting hard workouts and showing yourself and that you can do things and do hard things when you're tired. And that builds a lot of confidence and self-pride, which is what a lot of addicts miss is self-worth. They think that they're worth the life of an addict, and it's just not the case. When gym kind of affirms to you every day that you're worth a bit more than that.
Totally right. That's a great point you highlighted, Nathan. Self-worth, self-love, not exactly obsession, but just respecting yourself so that others can also respect you.
Yeah, you treat yourself right, and other people will treat you right. But it starts with you. If you're treating yourself like shit, well, that's why people are treating you like shit.
Right. So now that you are inspiring so many people, including me and all of our listeners, what's one piece of advice you would give to anyone feeling stuck?
just you gotta focus on being better, and that's the only thing. And you know in your heart that all those things that whether it's gaming, whether it's porn, whether it's, because it's not just substance, whatever it is, you know that they're breaking you, they're taking a part of you. If you focus on being better, then and bar that stuff from you, get rid of it, say I'm not going to go there ever again, then eventually you'll come to a point where being better is the only option, you know.
And another question comes to my mind, Nathan. So do you think a challenging past or hitting the rock bottom is necessary for true resilience, or can people develop it without hitting rock bottom?
I think it's called rock bottom for a reason, because you always bounce from it. So it's always the people that have done a little bit of stuff afterwards that say that was my rock bottom. But some people their whole life, they keep tapping new lows. So it does give you, like, when you truly wake up to yourself and you truly, want better from yourself, it's you got a lot of motivation, a lot of fire. You can kind of almost do anything. But the rock bottom it's not an every person thing. Like, people go through like self-inflicted pain through drugs, alcohol, porn, gaming all the time. They create their own depression and stuff like that. So, not everyone gets a rock bottom, but yeah, I can't remember the exact question. Sorry.
No worries. No, so can people develop true resilience without hitting rock bottom?
Yeah, there's always a bottom. That was what I was getting at. There's always a bottom. If you've gotten better as an individual, if you've gone through a certain transformation, a certain building of someone, yourself, there's always a point you can look back to and say, that was my rock bottom. But yeah.
Lovely, Nathan. And before we wrap up this inspiring conversation, if our listeners, they want to connect with you and explore more about your journey and the wisdom you're sharing about fighting with addiction and using physical fitness to build mental toughness, resilience, and also self compassion, self worth, how they can do that?
Yeah, just through Instagram. That's my main thing. So it's just my name with an extra G on the end. So Nathan Buttigieg, extra G. Just send me a message, say what's up. I'm just gonna be a person.
Great. That's really, really heartwarming. Lovely. We'll have the details mentioned for all of our listeners. And Nathan, thank you so much for sharing your incredible story of resilience, grit, and self-reinvention. From facing rock bottom to rising through your own determination, your transformation is really, really very inspiring reminder of the strength we each hold within, especially the young generation of today. So thank you so much for coming on the show and gracing us with your presence.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You've been a great host.
And listeners, if you found this conversation inspiring today, and I absolutely found it inspiring. So don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with someone who might need that extra push toward their own path of growth. And as we journeyed through Nathan Buttigieg's incredible story of resilience and grit, it reminds us that even the toughest roads can lead to the most rewarding destinations, as we have seen in Nathan's journey. So stay tuned, stay mindful, and keep pushing towards your best self. And thanks to everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Mindful Living. Thank you.